My name is Cynthia W. I will be teaching today for the Comic Rock Convention on Radio Etiquette 101. I am also an author. It's about two African American women working in Los Angeles as caregivers. My second novel, well actually this is my first one, this is my second. The first novel is Iceberg. Takes place on the Chesapeake Bay in southern Maryland. When I was 12, my younger brother fell into the Severn River in the frozen ice, and I saved his life. He went on to play for the Harlem Globetrotters, and he's a principal in New York in a high school. I also do the PR for Lucky Strike Films, Wicked Things Boutique. I have 2 singing groups and 2 authors. And I formally have promoted Larry Dunn, Earth, Wind & Fire for his concert at the Rose in last December. I do a show called Hammer Away, LA Talk Radio, and KCAA 106.5 and 102.3. Hammering Away was changed to Hammer Away, and then I went on, and so I started Hammer Media. It's a young company. It's my PR firm, and I do Hammer Away show with Hammer Media. And so if you guys want to know the 102 part of that, I'll tell you after the class. But this lands you right where you need to be. So the host is basically you guys. You know that already. You know you have the host, and sometimes you have the co-host. So it's common sense, but you'd be surprised. I just have to say it, okay? So if you're going to host your own radio show, what you want to do, I'm going to tell you what I did and how it became successful. You want to put the word out, kind of get your feelers out that you're going to start a show. And then you want to shop the areas that you might want to host it on, whether you're doing a blog, talk radio, whether you're going in somebody else's studio. Out here you have LA Talk Radio, you have LA Talk Radio Live, you have UBN. There's about 6 major players out here in Los Angeles. I'm not sure in your region. So you want to go in, you want to introduce yourself or call, set up an appointment. What I did was I scanned their website to see how their shows ran. I checked for their content, like if there was any celebrities or anybody of big interest in the station, because that way you know that they have a lot of following, a lot of listeners. So that's half your battle, is to make sure that people are interested in their station. That's what I did. So you put the word out and that you're doing a show, you take your meeting, and you meet with the producer or the manager or the owner of the show, and then see if you're a good fit. So that's where it starts. And then what they usually ask you to do is write a bio and about yourself, and find out if your content fits their structure. So what you want to do is basically send a good headshot, a quick synopsis of what your show's going to be about, and just wait for the call. And then you go and you talk to business. A lot of times, if you just keep it simple, then and just tell them the truth. It's your first time, or you've done radio, or people say you're a great talker, or you love to read, or you're smart, or you have a degree, why they should put you in this certain spot. And then you choose your time spot accordingly. But most of the time it works out, because, you know, people like to be paid. But you also want a successful show. So after you put the word out, what I did was I went into the studio that I shopped in, took all the cards from different studios, and called the host and asked them if I could come on your show. Now at the time, and I still am an author, I had just finished a novel, and the long of the short is that I was like, well, can I guest on your show to talk about my work? And it turned out I could talk about whatever their show was about. Like, if you make yourself interesting, there's bound to be somebody that'll say, okay, you can do the show, okay? So once you guest on other people's shows, and you kind of warm up, because if you're not a public speaker, then you do want to warm up. So the best way to warm up is go on other people's shows with other people. Sit and watch. You don't have to be the big eye in the room. If you have 3 or 4 people on the show, just kind of sit in and be the guest and let them ask you questions, but also watch the other people. You know, out here, we have a blessing, and I'm not sure where you guys where your states are, but I'm sure when you walk in, the people that are on the show is very important. And, you know, they could be doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, whatever they're doing in their life, I'm sure is important. You can learn from anyone. You know, I've learned to always be an open book, to not always come in with a big ego. You know, you always want to check your ego at the door, because you ain't gonna learn shit if you don't be willing to learn. You know, and we can learn from each other. No matter what age we are, we can learn from each other. So then, very important, find out the fees and shop around for the best product. Now, if you guys look at your worksheets, this is all on your worksheets. Are you guys following me? Does it say find out fees, shop around for best product for you? Do you see that? Okay. So what that means is that find out what they charge. And see if it fits your pocket. Some people want weekly. You can do bi-weekly. Some people want on a credit card. Some people want so many months up front. You always want to find out, if you decide to move from a different station, find out what is there a penalty, how many weeks notice, because they got your charge card. You always want to know these things, because in business, you have to look out for yourself, because it's exciting. You want the radio show, you want the show, but you really have to know that if, I'm a God person, so if God has a plan for you, it's going to come to fruition. So you don't have to rush it, but don't slow your roll, but don't rush and be haste in a judgment, in other words, okay? Slow your roll. I appreciate your good taste, but let's be realistic. So if you strive to be like a Hope or D.L. Hughley or a Steve Harvey, it's okay to have that directness and that confidence. But also, there's already a Steve Harvey. There's already a Hope Flood. So you have to. You've heard this enough, right? Original is what is. Nobody can do you. So a lot of people go back and forth, and then you get your comfort zone, like when it's too late. You know what I mean? After you spend a whole day, a lot of money, you realize, oh, shit, I'm pretty good at this. But I could have been pretty good at this a while ago if I just came in like myself. Okay? So, listen. People say I'm good at giving interviews. The reason is because I'm genuinely engaged in what a person's saying. Most important, somebody could be sharing a good nugget with you, and you got to be able to come back with a good response. But if you ain't paying attention, and somebody could have said something heartfelt, you don't want to say, what did you just say? That's, you want to be engaged. People can feel your authenticity if you're paying attention. And we're listeners. Radio hosts are also listeners. We're good talkers, but you got to know when to shut up and listen to your guest. But you got to know when to cut your guest off too, because it's still your show. Okay? So we'll get to that. Always speak clear. Okay, I already said check you got the door. Develop your style. And one of the things I know about the radio show is let a person correct you. You don't want to go to battle with one of your guests on the show because you guys don't agree on something. Just let them be right. You only got an hour with them, and then you'll never have to see them again. Because you want to have a certain etiquette is having class, is having a safe place for your guests to come where they know you're not going to be tripping. So you want to let your guests trip, but then if you can get them back down and out the door. I've only had maybe one or two experiences where I had to just get them down and get them out the door. But I'll tell you about that later. But usually you want to educate yourself on who the guest is, their strength and their weakness, so whether they're going to be able to, sit in that seat for an hour without being a jerk. Basically that's what it comes down to. And even still, that could still be a good show because allow people to be themselves, as long as it doesn't get crazy. But, excuse me, I don't do crazy talk. This is a serious business. Radio is serious, and you could really make a good living or a partial income if you stick to developing the show, and it does take work. Know your target, know your theme. I already said that. Advertisement. Remember the cost of the show and what you need to charge. Some people charge you about $100 to $150 just to air every week. I'm not sure if you guys know the price. So guest, there are no more than, you guys know, a guest can be an author, entrepreneur, actor, musician, a local business, doctor, etc. Anybody that has an important story. Somebody could be a hero in their neighborhood. Somebody could have saved somebody from a burning building. Find out their number, get them on your show. They're an interesting topic. Try not to always have topics of what you like. I love music, but I'm not going to have all musicians. I write. I love my authors. I have an author's corner. I do bring authors on. However, I have to be open to everything because everything makes a great show, and you get more people that way. You got to call them a week before or text them, then the day before, and then the day of. It's like an hour before they'll say, oh, I'm on my way, what's the address? I've only shot you the address 5 freaking times. But you can't say that, because then they won't show up. So, but you have some people take a little more effort than others. Bite your tongue, do the show, and be glad that they're gone. Because some of them are very high maintenance. I mean, they're overly high maintenance, some people. And listen, now some people, you can say there's the door. I've only done that one time. Like, it's in the studio. You know, only one time. Okay, this is important. Do your research. Because what I've done is I've asked certain guests, I don't care big or where you are in life, there's no big or small, whatever level you're at in life, I asked you to give me 8 questions. Because first of all, I got a life. All of you guys have a life. If you have a radio show and you got 4 or 5 guests coming on in one pop, or 2 or 3, or if they're really big in their career, or they just have a lot of information, they need to send you something to highlight what you may want to talk about. It doesn't make me lazy or I just need guidelines and I don't know what I'm doing. No, it's because you want me to make you look good. Take time out of your life, because you're coming on to the show where I'm highlighting you, to send me at least 8 questions. And then I come up with my own. And I may not use their 8, but it's always good to have. You want to get them to get in the habit of realizing that, you know, if you come back again, that you need to be ready. It can't always be on the host. You know, I have people call me, they want to come 4 deep. Well, I don't even know who they are, first of all, and they could be this person, an actor. I had surprise guests came on my show. One was Red from the 5 Heartbeats, Hawthorne James, just rolled into studio, which was awesome. It was a great show. And then Young the rapper, you know, the Cali Swag, does anybody know who that is? Came in with another guest of mine. He was great. He had done it before. But my point is, when you have guests that you don't know who they are, what they're about, but you don't want to turn down a celebrity like that, you still want to have some questions ready for that moment. And then if somebody sends in the 8, then you're kind of prepared. But you also want to always engage them to do their part. And give driving directions. This is always fun. Right before you walk in the studio, you might have someone that calls you and says, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm at. And you know what? You want to say, oh my God, I can't believe they're calling me 5 minutes before I'm going on the air. But you know what? You got to do this nice thing. You got to guide them in. I don't care if who they are. Because you want to say, you know what? Okay, I guess you just missed my show. But a good host guides all their guests in. As much as they get on your nerves, the show must go on. So you guide them in. And usually you guide them in while you're on air. Sometimes you heckle them. Look, they can't even be on time for my damn show. They know it's an hour and 20-minute drive, but yet they left 20 minutes ago. You kind of make it funny. You make it part of the show. When they get here, we can all have some laughs about it. So that's what I usually do. I usually heckle them on the drive, which is, you know, it's up to you. So answer their calls. You know, some of the celebrities, friends, whoever you have on your show will treat you like their servant. Etiquette, this is where the etiquette part comes in. They also may want some water. So usually I have drinks ready for when they walk in, have a seat, be quiet, set you up. Just tell them to stay quiet. Don't bang the table because it echoes. Don't sit your bracelet, your keys, nothing on the table when you're guesting on a show. It all echoes. So that's very important, and you try to say that to the person arriving. Arriving late is very important because it can be frustrating. So you got to hold your cool. You really do.